Hello everyone, my name is Jeanette of Goldberry's Gardens, and in this video I'm going to share my October setup in my weekly planner. So last month my September setup video didn't really work out so well. The setup is really pretty, but when I filmed it I did a bunch of time-lapse and didn't realize how fast the time-lapse would go, and the whole video ended up being like 3 minutes. And most of it, like the parts I wanted to show you where I was setting up like washi tape and stickers and stamps and all of that, was so fast that it wasn't really worth it. So I wanted to try again and actually take the time to do a longer setup so that you can really see the process, but still use a time lapse and just use it and film long enough to show you. So for this layout, I'm drew in some things. So here's the cover page, and then I'll put my habit tracker like I normally do. And then for my monthly month at a glance spread, I'm going to do floating boxes because I saw that on, I think, Instagram. I don't remember what account did that, but it was really pretty, and so I'm going to do my decorations behind the floating boxes. Then I drew out my monthlies, and they're just kind of spins on monthlies I've done already. So I have this one, or sorry, weeklies. So I have this one, this one, this one, and as it turns out, I forgot to set up one of my weekly spreads and sketch out spacing for it. So I'm gonna do that right now. That'll be the first thing, and then we'll get into the actual decorating. I'll talk about the theme. Alright, now that we have my fourth weekly, I'll show you again. So this is the cover page, or the monthly page, and then we have week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. And then I'll have my budget here, my finance tracker, which usually extends onto this page, and now it's sometimes extending onto this page, just the way I'm tracking things a little bit differently. And then for the rest of this page, I can use it for notes or doodles or anything else I want. So the next thing I wanted to do for this spread was talk about supplies I'm going to use. I will of course use my little X-Acto knife to cut washi tape, but the only washi tape I'm going to use is this dark purple and silver tape from Simply Gilded. It almost looks black. It's a little hard to see on camera, but I'll show you when I put it on the page how it's gonna look, and I think it'll make more sense. Then I have my tweezers, which I don't even remember where I got them, and then I'm using a number of Papermate Flare pens. It's the medium tip, which is 0.5 millimeters. Then I've got a few Papermate Inkjoy, again 0.5 millimeter pens. I have these pens, and you can still get them on Amazon. I don't even know anything about the brand, but one of my roommates in college had pens like this, and they write really smoothly, but they're also good for sketching, and it's a tiny fine point. So I'll be using that for the black lines in this setup, just because I like the pen. I also am using a number of mild liners and another highlighter. I think this is a Mr. Pen highlighter, but all the writing wore off. And then I have a Kuretake Zig calligraphy pen, and this one is in metallic silver. And I'm just gonna use it to make some little details and stuff, just to make the spread pop a lot. I don't want too much metallic silver, but it also matches the silver on the washi tape. My last thing is a white Posca marker, which I found, and it's just kind of like a paint pen, and so I'm again going to use this for some highlights on certain parts of the spread. As has become my habit, I did a doodle for the theme for this spread. for this one, like I said, so I'm using all these colors. I'm going to make it kind of spooky. I want to do some dark fairies. I'm not very good at drawing scary wings though, so we'll see if they're just like peeking out from around journal elements or if they're actually like flying around looking spooky. So with the Papermate pens, I did this thing to make it look kind of like wisps, because I thought that would be kind of a cool magical factor. And then this is how I'm going to use the washi tape, and it just changes how it looks. It looks a lot less friendly, and it looks cool to have the bows reflecting. And then I'm going to do a lot of these vines with some highlighting, probably not quite as much as I put down here. And then these are the fonts I'm going to use, and I got them off of freefonts.com, I think. Let me check that. Fontspace.com, not free fonts. I'll link it in the description. But the top one is called Spooky Mystery Font, and the bottom one is Spooky Frights Font. And I'll probably use Spooky Mystery Font for some of the more detailed words and things, like the days of the week, where I write to do and like notes and stuff. But for the weeks and for the title, obviously I'm going to do this October font with the orange pen and then the brown pen underneath, because it looks cool. This setup is going to have a lot more drawing than some of mine, but I really wanted to get into making my own doodles for each month. And I also wanted to have a lot of fun with this because it is coming up on spooky season, and I've never been a huge Halloween person, but I do enjoy kind of the things surrounding spooky season. So I thought that would be fun to play around with, and it's also my birthday month, so I wanted to do something I knew I would enjoy. Alright, so I'm going to start with the monthly spread because I do not feel inspired or confident enough to start on the cover page yet, but we'll do that, and then once that's done, we'll see how we're doing with time and how long I want this video to be, and then maybe we'll set up a couple weeklies. For this month's setup, I decided, like I said, to do those floating boxes, and I wanted the edges to be really clean so that you could see where the boxes start and stop and where the decoration was. So I ended up using my straight edge to do all of the boxes, and that took a little longer than freehanding them, but I think the results are a little bit better. I did make a mistake here because there is no first Monday of October, or that first Monday is the 7th, and so as you can see, I just put a little piece of a label over that to cover up the mistake, and because the label has the same texture as the paper, more or less, it covers it up and I can still write over it and decorate just fine. And it blends in really well with the final result. Once I got done, I started adding some colors with the mild liners. I like to do my weekends a different color so that they really stand out from the week, and it helps me with planning and just remembering what day is what. And then I wrote the days of the week in that fun font that I found, and it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. My spacing isn't as good as it is on the website because there's letters went up and down a little bit, but I still like how it turned out. I did forget to cross my T on Saturday, but I do go back and do that later. Then I highlighted the top of each day because that seemed a little bit better than just writing it in the corner, and it gave me space to, again, write the letters in that cool font, all the numbers for the days of the month, and I'll have room to write my hours for how much I'm working each day next to that because that really helps. Then I went in and sketched my decoration and then drew it. I'm doing these kind of creepy ladies with their glass balls and dark magic or at least maybe creepy forest magic. That was kind of the vibe I was going for. I feel like the whole setup has still a lot of white to it, and so it doesn't quite look as creepy as I wanted it to, but I still like how it turned out. Then I added all of the vines, and some of those, as you can see, I drew coming up around this dark fairy, so that kind of looks like she's rising out of them. And then I drew a bunch of vines behind the boxes, and this is where I feel like it started to get a little bit too busy, because as I was going, I was like, okay, and then I was like, wait a second, there's a lot going on. And then you'll see in a little bit, I'm gonna add some washi tape and also some like little sparkles and highlighting, and then all of a sudden it just like was overkill, but that's okay. This was the first page of my setup. I usually use the calendar page just to figure things out, and then I'll either start with the calendar page or one of the weeklies, and so I did definitely get this figured out. Alright, I have now finished my setup for my monthly spread. It got a little bit busy. I'm kind of annoyed with all the vines I put in between, just because the whole thing now feels a little crazy, but I do like the spooky lady I have over here who's working some magic with a magical crystal ball that's maybe connected to the wisps. And I really love the washi tape. It's a dark purple from Simply Gilded, and it's got like it's not quite gold or silver gilding. It might be supposed to be silver, but on the purple tape it comes across as almost a silvery bronze, and I really like it. But that's the month at a glance, and then I did go ahead and set up off camera a few of my weekly spreads, just because they take forever and I feel like it's a little bit repetitive just to watch me set up this kind of the same thing over and over again. But I have this one with the boxes, and I really like this girl that I drew. She's a little less creepy, but I still like her. And then I have my wisps and some vines, and everything's kind of organized in the boxes. Then on this one, I just have vines and wisps because I didn't really have room for a person. This one, I still have to add the decoration besides the washi tape. I don't think I'm gonna have a person. I might have like a hand with some fiery stuff coming out of it, but at least for now, it's probably mostly going to be wisps and sparkles and vines and things. And then I have this set up, and I'm kind of thinking I might put someone here and here, or do like kind of a portrait look here, but we'll have to see. And then this is the final setup, and I've got my budget tracker with this font, and then my finance tracker with this font, and then I just have more room on the next couple pages to continue that, because I probably will need to. So now I'm going to flip back, and we're going to set up the cover page. Oh, here's the cover page. I'm going to do October and some sort of decoration on this side, and then I'll do my habit tracker here. And I've really gotten absolutely nothing. I don't even have pencil sketches down here, so you can see that whole process from start to finish. So I started by putting down some washi tape to kind of give it a frame. After I did the finance pages, I realized how much I liked that border washi tape. It just makes the whole thing seem more cohesive. So I decided to pull that in here again, and I also put some tape down on the edges of the page so that it's a true full border. I thought about putting tape in the middle too, but that seemed like it would be overkill. For the habits, I did them this way because I wanted to have another kind of habit tracker than my last ones. So far I haven't used the same habit tracker twice, and I do like the variation. Then I just went through and put the numbers by 5 so I don't get lost, and then I highlighted weekends because that also is really helpful. I have been penciling in this font for the bigger words just because then it won't end up really lopsided or anything. And this font is definitely a little bit harder and took a little bit more time, but I really like how it turned out. I'm glad I penciled it in first so that I was able to double check all my spacing and make sure it looked how I wanted it to. Then I just inked it, and then I will go in and color each letter with the orange and brown pens. Once I finished that, I started drawing out some people. I couldn't figure out at first what pose I wanted the girl on top to have, but kind of made her, I don't know, sitting behind the letters, and then I added all of my vines. Alright, now we have the finished setup for October in my bullet journal. I hope you enjoyed it and it was inspiring to you, and if you like this and want to see more of it, I would love if you followed me here on YouTube or followed me over on Instagram at Goldberry's Gardens. But let's do a final flip through so you can see all my spreads. So of course I have my cover spread, and my little dark fairies are so-so. They're not my best art necessarily, but they're kind of creepy and mysterious, so I like that. And then this is a new habit tracker I set up. Then we have the calendar page, and it's still really busy feeling, but that's all right. Then we have week 42, which has these little vignettes almost. There's week 43, which just has some kind of floating decorations. Week 44, which I haven't decorated yet, and I'll probably decorate further into the month. Same with week 45. And then I have a spot for my budget, which I don't want to add decoration because it gets pretty full of just writing. And then the finance tracker, which is the same way. And then I have more room since the finance tracker usually loops onto the next page. And then this is for extra notes or doodles or anything else I want. So I hope that was really inspiring to you, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.